to be here with you today. I'm a self-ascension intuitive counselor, Avesa, master energy healer, cosmic priestess, whatever. I don't really like labels, probably like a lot of you, but it's nice to try to describe for our brain sometimes where we're at. So today is exciting because this is a new series that I'm embarking on with Soul Fusion Cafe. It is going to be all about multidimensional wellness, multidimensional wellness. So hello and welcome to those of you joining on YouTube at the Oneness Talk Radio channel, to those of you joining on Facebook at Oneness Talk Radio, as well as onenesstalkradio.com. All three ways you can watch, listen, pop in chat. I will not be able to pop in the chat, but I am saying much love and enjoy the community and experience of chatting with others during this hour. So multidimensional wellness, this really birthed through this last weekend, but when you think about it, it really began a long time ago. For me, I'm always looking at how to integrate these different worlds that I walk in, but they're all part of the oneness, right? And I think a lot of us might be in the same space. If you're a healer or somebody that works in a practice that way, or everyone's a healer, everyone is a healer, no matter what, and however you work. So you probably think about, how do I bridge these different worlds? But they really are part of the oneness, and they're all just aspects of it, right? So this multidimensional wellness has really come through after having a weekend retreat, Sacred Awakenings retreat, where I facilitated and led participants through Atlantean healing chambers, Crystalline Atlantean healing chambers. I've been doing Atlantean healing chambers, have had the blessing of being trained by Sri Ramkat and Kira Ra back in 2014, and have been providing the blessing and the powerful energy of these chambers, because they really connect us to our multidimensional presence and awaken us and help us transcend the density or the 3D or the earth experience to anchor in the remembrance of ourself. And these came forward about a year ago, or a little more than that, for Sri and Kira have been tapping into expanding these into these crystalline Atlantean healing chambers, which I had the blessing to receive in Ecuador just about a year ago, a little over a year ago. And during that time, your soul song comes forward. So much beauty happens. It's a 2-day process. You're in a crystalline container. You're at Tosa Blue Mountain. It's all crystalline energy, right? And you receive and also are able to release and transcend things that could have been hanging around for lifetimes, right? So through that blessing of receiving that, so much has happened to me in this last year. And through the blessing of being at Ingapurca, which is like the Machu Picchu of Ecuador, and going through an initiation there and connecting with the energy of the cosmic priestess that I am, it really has birthed a lot for me in this last year. So I'm sharing this because it kind of leads into this multidimensional energy that happened this last weekend. All year, I have been really in that steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust, which is the framework for self-ascension. And, this is taught through wisdom teacher Sri Ramkat and Master Lady Kira Ra. And there are many of us that are really carrying that energy forward into the world. And it's a beautiful trinity to really live by. We must have the steadfast commitment. We must keep saying yes, and then yes again. We don't just say yes once to our journey. We say yes again and again. And we must have the complete trust, right? We must. Steadfast commitment, focused awareness. I always want to skip over to complete trust. We can't get to the complete trust without the focused awareness. The focused awareness is honestly where that steadfast commitment leads us to. When we keep saying yes, we can say, this is what I'm focused on. The yes, I'm going to keep saying yes. I'm focused on the divine. My eyes are on the divine at all times. I am aware when I am not there. Discernment becomes the key to transporting us into our multidimensional presence, into the fifth dimension and beyond. It is through our awareness that we can discern when we are in our true nature and self, which is multidimensional, which is fifth, seventh, beyond, which is the divine in action, right? There's that, and then there is the density experience, which density described through Archangel Zadkiel. I love his term. It's really, insert, earth life, the fact that we have a form and emotions and uh, thoughts, the world that is moving at a slower rate. Everything's energy, right? But our body seems solid. The world seems solid because it's moving in a perception that it's so slow. It's solid, right? So we're in this world, and only certain things can thrive here, like the emotions and feelings of lack, frustration, contraction. Anything that is not peace, love, or joy is density realm, and it's rich and full and robust, and it's a fertile ground for us to birth into the truth of who we are. But we also carry a body of form. So multidimensional wellness, you see where I'm going, it's really about, okay, I've understand that we have to take care of this form, right? That brings in all the aspects of how do we nourish the body? How do we love and cherish the body as the temple, as the being that carries our soul forward? So that really brings in the elements of botanical wisdom and tree wisdom and earth medicine and our connection to Gaia and each other as humanity and as beings that, feel the ebbs and flows of what nature is doing in the cycles. Yet we are bringing, when we really anchor multidimensional wellness, we are bringing our ascended presence down and into our form. We are integrating our form into it, and we become this walking crystalline light being, that enjoys having a form, that enjoys the dance of density. But we must integrate all these aspects of our wellness in order to really truly ascend. We have got to take care and unify. That's a key part and step of self-ascension, is to be in sacred union. And sacred union, sometimes evokes partnership. Yes, that's very important too. But the very first relationship and the most sacred relationship is the one with your own divine nature. And the sacred union right now, particularly 2020 and this, and beyond, the body, if we want to anchor multidimensional wellness, if we want to live in that space, we have got to become totally integrated with our body in a way that the body is supported and fed by this crystalline light. The body is fed and nourished by what is available to us in our environment, that we are taking care of all of these aspects, that we are doing the meditation or the things that help quiet the mind and feed our connection. What are those things? And the beauty of multidimensional presence and wellness is that your way is your dance. It's really your dance with the divine. Your wellness is your dance with the divine. So how do you really feel nourished and supported? It's that time to say, I don't necessarily need someone to tell me what morning routine to have. I need to feel into what morning routine supports me. We're doing a routine no matter what, right? It might look different in some ways each day, but we're doing something to prepare ourselves. It's a ceremony for our day, so it's like, what is it that we are honoring upon awakening, and how do we bring in what supports us truly as we do greet the day? It's another example of how we can think about multidimensional wellness. It's like, what tea are you drinking? For me, it's lunchtime here, Eastern time. I mean, maybe it's morning for you where you are, I don't know, or anywhere around the globe at any time, but are you having tea? I love, 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 love having tea during multiple points in my day. But yeah, like, what is, are you really like, wow, it can be such a ceremony, right? There are tea ceremonies, right? In some traditions. So, what is your ceremony in the morning, if it includes tea or not? For me, tea is a part of my morning ceremony or ritual or routine, whatever word you like to use for this. I invite you to try on ceremony because it really brings that level of sacredness into it and doesn't feel like a routine or a thing you have to do, And when you think ritual, that gets to be really fun and it gets to be your way, So I love to put, this is like nettles and red clover and a little bit of red raspberry leaf, all and oat straw, all blended together. This was a really kind of my personal favorite little formula. So it's like that supports my body. It gives me minerals. It gives me some nervous system support. It really helps my body feel nourished and hydrated, right? So from like those aspects, how are we, the ways to nourish your body, and there's your dance, your divine way to take care of your body, and your way of connecting with the divine, through that. It's like, is it meditation that supports you, just like a sitting meditation? Is it maybe meditation while you're washing your dishes? Your whole day becomes a dance and part of the ceremony, really, when we anchor our multidimensional presence. And multidimensional wellness supports us to alleviate so many symptoms of the density experience, So back to leading up to this last weekend, this fabulous, fabulous weekend that was this beautiful retreat, a small, intimate retreat and group that came forward for these crystalline Atlantean healing chambers. I had the honor to facilitate. I mean, I am totally humbled. I always do my absolute best to really anchor in that crystalline presence and get out of my own way when this comes through. And it's a very co-creative experience, to perform this kind of healing. And it's not even performing, it's a dance again. It's a facilitation, it's a co-creation, and it's so sacred, and the soul completely gets to reunify and remember and anchor in a crystalline container. And the whole weekend, this was like in the Northwoods of Wisconsin. I'm in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Drove to Wisconsin to this amazing site because the facilitator, dear, amazing, beautiful friend and sister, Gigi Staffney, who's got Nordic Airbnb, and Wisconsin has this amazing space and this amazing ability to nourish and nurture everybody in that container. Everybody was able to stay in that container and anchor in crystalline light. And it blew my mind. And I'm still blowing my mind, and I'm still integrating, and so much is coming forward. And it really was like this full circle moment for me personally, having going back to the beginning of the episode when I started sharing where this multidimensional wellness piece came in and this series birthed, was about a little over a year ago, when I had that initiation into the cosmic priestess ship, really is what it was for me, and received, and really since then held as true as I could to that path of self-ascension and the path of really continuing to say yes, to really be in that awareness and the presence, and to continue to say yes and dive into trust. And that's something that has come forward a lot, like that trust piece is often the little piece that it's a huge piece that we all have to really dive into, and we're being asked to, because so many of you I know have been on this spiritual path and journey. You've had the steadfast commitment, you keep saying yes, the tenacity to keep saying yes no matter what density throws at us. It throws a lot, so you keep saying yes, and to really be in that awareness, to really truly be in the awareness. Excuse me, I gotta take a sip. and to really anchor the trust next. Yes, you've had a lot of trust to get where you are, but we have that final kind of like moment where we're ready to jump into the void, knowing and seeing already the illumination on the other side. This is the void of like the seventh dimension calling of saying, do you really completely trust everything in your life because you are a divine being and are supported? You know you are trust. You know you have this, So this is that moment we're standing at. And our multidimensional wellness is very much a key to really anchor that trust piece, So this was just profound. The weekend was amazing. I'm still, like I said, integrating and floating in it. It was such an honor to each of you that were there. Thank you for the blessing. Thank you for the blessing of ascended community, multidimensional presence, for saying yes and trusting yourselves. I mean, wow, it's powerful when we are a group of beings, whatever we are doing, if there is the energy of ascended presence there, if everyone is there from the sincerity, love, and presence, right? Sincerity, love, and presence, the framework that really says, this is for the highest. Like everyone is anchoring and coming from that heartfelt space with one another. A community comes together. There's reasons everyone needed to be there, right? That they were guided to be there and had to trust and have the commitment. You had to have it to get there. And it's a big deal, and whatever you may be saying yes to in your life, it's like a big deal. If it's taking that class, if it's taking that leap, if it's saying, oh my gosh, there's something my soul has been wanting to do, the things that make my heart sing, that bring me joy, it's the time to do it. It's the time to say yes. It's the time to take the leap completely. It's beyond the moment to have said yes. And there is this energy of, what are you willing to do? What are you really willing to do to continue to anchor into the truth of who you are? Because everything is conspiring in density to stop us. And the ego is the sneakiest sly pirate, as Archangel Zadkiel says, who will try to stop you no matter what. And this topic really birthed as I was thinking and feeling through questions I've been asked and what I've been picking up from people is like, how do we apply, multidimensional wellness to the energy of stuckness, procrastination, contraction, anxiousness, right? How do we move through those energies? They are something so universal that I think so many beings feel and relate to. It's that feeling of, I don't know if I can do it. It can get severe. And believe me, I've walked through this path of not being able to feel like I could get out of bed. There was a time in my life where I could hardly get out of bed, and the anxiety was so high, and the procrastination, beating myself up for putting things off that would make me feel better, right? And now some of you maybe are there right now, or have been there, or relate and are going, yeah, right? And it really is such a journey to understand this, because we come at it from so many ways. When we first identify through our awareness, right, that we are having like a procrastination issue, let's say, if we're just dealing with different kinds of ways that we feel stuck, and that's one label for being stuck, not feeling like you can move forward, putting things off. And sometimes we start approaching it from, that mental side, and like the psychologist, inside of us, or we go to somebody and get help with that. And it's so fruitful because we start to realize, right, we really are putting off something that's we are perceiving that will be uncomfortable. Like, let's just say folding the laundry, or writing that work email or something. And there's going to be some discomfort in doing it. that we perceive, right? There's a perception. It's not going to feel so fun to do. And so we're putting it off, but we're still thinking about it over and over again, and just living it over and over again in our mind till we do it. And we can start to like understand how we do that at a mental level. And we can start to understand even, as we dive in deeper, how it's connected to emotional level and perhaps even trauma or things that happened to us when we were very young, or just throughout our life experience, that made us. Usually there's a connection there. If it's a severe way that we hold ourselves back, of like self-sabotaging ourselves, feeling really stuck, feeling like I can't or shouldn't or I don't want to, and the procrastination energy that comes in. And it's a very, big challenge so many people are facing right now. And the multidimensional perspective really on this, and the self-ascension perspective, is if we really focus on our self-ascended presence, that is our authenticity, who you really are, if that's your focus, is maintaining your connection to your authentic truth, to the divine, however you look at that, if you call it universe, divine, God, goddess, it's, your divine dance. You insert, the languaging that fits for you. But if you focus on that connection as your primary focus throughout the day, with steadfast commitment, focused awareness, and complete trust, everything takes care of itself so amazingly. We put the cart in front of the horse all the time. It's a habit of being a human. It's like one of the, you're playing the video game, and it's one of those pitfalls that you fall into and, have to start over again. It's just like a funny, quirky part of being here that we're unlearning, so give yourself a break too and have total mercy on yourself. That is a key. And self-ascension is the foundation of the work that I do in the world. And it is non-dogmatic. It is supportive of all, it's a sincere, authentic love space that this energy resides in, and it transcends all languages and boundaries, truly. So if we're really wanting to resolve uncomfortable feelings, if we are feeling stuck in some ways and we are over mentalizing, if we are feeling energies like depression, there's so much compression energy right now around the planet, and if any of what I'm sharing resonates, please check out Sri Ramka and Kira Ra at YouTube, official Sri and Kira, or their website, SharingCare.com, because they really dive into a lot of what I'm just touching on here, or look back in the archives of my videos at Oneness Talk Radio too for other topics that might interest you, because there's so much to be shared, but truly they bring the authentic spirit of these teachings and have brought them to the world for 18 some years, and it's been a privilege to be able to do this work alongside them and learn from them and grow through this journey of self-ascension. And it really is just a model. It's really a model for living in our multidimensional presence, for being the authentic self that you are. So there's this compression energy that they have been describing, and they're receiving so much information from multidimensional realms, and it's so spot on, and September was this, wow, this energy was rocking, and we had basically experienced 12 days as one all September long. It was like a year of mastery back in September, if you can remember, back to September, this year of mastery, right? And also, if you think about all of 2020 being a year of balance, the 2 and the 2 is a 4. The 0 represents the infinite, and there's a double infinite. 4 is the number of perfect balance, the equilateral cross. It is the harmony, the balance, and whatever is not in balance is going to come forward. And September being this mastery month, in this year of experience, a decade of experience, we are creating what is going to happen next constantly. Where is your consciousness? Where are you at? How are you taking care of your being, body, mind, soul, spirit? How are you supporting it so that you can continue to lift through this time? And trust me, the things that hold you back will dissolve from you lifting your consciousness and radiating and loving around it. It will absolutely do that. You will suddenly find yourself doing some of the things that you would put off and so easily and effortlessly. But in September, when that energy was coming at us fast and furious, like, what did you master that month? And just be, honestly aware within yourself. It's like there's no judgment. Another cornerstone of self-ascension, and one of the essential steps is to release judgment in order to ascend and lift and live, to really live in our ascended state 24/7. We have to release all the judgment of ourselves, of others, right? So however you experience September, release your judgment. What did you master? We're masters. We are divine in form, and we are remembering that, right? What would it take for you to keep remembering that connection? And sometimes we have mastery experiences that don't feel like divine connection. They feel very densified, right? Maybe we got caught in the projections of density. Maybe we didn't even know what we didn't know yet. Maybe you're just awakening now and going, I don't even know. September was rough, right? Maybe it was so expansive. Whatever it was, just be with that. What was September really like? It was the balance, and it's the month of balance. September was very much when this energy of the balance started coming in. The divine feminine has been radiating into our planet since really about a year ago, but the Lion's Gate, we opened up this whole chalice energy of this divine golden light and this divine feminine energy that is continuing to radiate her presence. And now we are in this Mercury retrograde. If you're catching this in October, that is, wow, reflecting. It's very reflective. The new moon last weekend, like those of you that participated in the retreat, or those of you that participated maybe with Shri and Kira for their new moon ceremony, which we were all there and part of that as well with you. If you follow and track with them. And if not, I really do recommend going and checking out what they are doing. It's phenomenal. They are serving in so many ways. And that ceremony was phenomenal, was it not? So we really went into this void. And what are you birthing? What is being reflected and illuminated in your life? What is showing up? It's going to be showing up what's out of harmony. What we did not balance in September is showing up now. And it's a gift because it's showing us, we are seeing it. And at the same time, density is reflecting its and projecting its energies, out. We're seeing those projections and we are walking through them if we are anchoring our multidimensional presence and not allowing them to captivate us with their stories or keep us stuck, right? It's the moment of saying yes. So wherever you were at and anchoring in September, October may feel extremely spacious to you, meaning now October slowed down to the rate of 6 days in one. It's halved the energy. It's a half a year of mastery in October. So it will feel very spacious. If you were anchoring your multidimensional presence back in September, October is going to be like, wow, when you're in your multidimensional presence, if you're maintaining it, it is so expansive. That weekend, everyone at the retreat kept saying, like, I can't even believe it feels like we've been here for years. And this is like on day one, right? It was like 4 days that we were together, 2 full days, but like day one, it feels like it's been so long. Each day, it feels like it's been so long. There's so much more to come, right? And as everyone was getting ready to leave and integrate back into the world, I pray you keep connecting with the energy of that weekend. And those of you that connected with the new moon ceremony or whatever you did last weekend, that supported your divine connection. I pray you continue to connect with that energy and birth it forward, because we are co-creating something really amazing in our own lives right now, and as part of the collective, of the community that we are. So the multidimensional presence, we can manifest like that. If we are really taking care of our wellness, our whole being wellness, we're able to enter that stream of instantaneous manifestation in a directed way through our consciousness. We are manifesting at whatever level of consciousness we're at. So if things don't feel so good around you, pay attention, what are you paying attention to? Where is your focus? Where are you at with that? And truly, this energy that would seek to stop us and stick us, right? So that back to that compression, and why I was bringing in the energies of September and October is because this compression energy is what we will be feeling if we did not anchor in our multidimensional presence, that is our authenticity. If we did not experience a deepening in that connection, and we were focused on what was happening in density and really aligning with that level of consciousness, then it's going to feel very compression. It's squeezing us. Excuse me. And it's like a tube of toothpaste that's being squeezed, and bursting out. And you're the tube of toothpaste. It feels really uncomfortable. Yet at the same time, it's facilitating the awakening. At any moment, it's like, enough, and you may find yourself dancing with those energies through the rest of October. Here is, are you expanding or contracting? And there really is a question on the table of like, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to do to facilitate your expansion? Because if you're tuning into this, you probably don't want to be in the contraction energy, and that can look like the procrastination, depression, anxiousness, just lethargic, tired all the time, whatever those different energies are that we might describe for ways that we feel stuck, and whether it has a biochemical connection or not, we can bring the light of consciousness to any of it and start to experience a wellness in a way that you maybe never have before. And if you have been working with this kind of path for a long time, it's really a level up moment. It's a level up for everybody. What are we leveling up? And, this divine feminine that's coming into the planet, it is expanding our authentic nature to ask us to come into balance and union in that way with the masculine and feminine. This does not matter what gender you are. This is the masculine and feminine coming together in harmony within each being, and within the energy of our planet. And as, density, bless it, it's part of the multidimensional experience. But it's, it's full of ego. It's full of ego. The ego lives and thrives in the realm of density. This person did that. That person did this. Can you believe that? It's the preoccupation with what's happening next. It's victim consciousness. It's the victim triangle. It's the energy of being stuck in an energy of lack, things being misaligned, dis-ease, things happening that are extraordinarily uncomfortable, and there is so much of it. And if you are a sensitive being in any way, highly sensitive person, empath, healer, however you identify that way, you are going to be feeling bombarded if you spend time swimming in that energy. Maybe at one time you could get by going and being in density and coming out, but now it's like really important to pay attention to your energy and to really choose the things that help with the expansion. And again, trust me, the things that we think are holding us back, that we focus on so much, dissolve in the light of our multidimensional wellness. They truly, truly do. Take procrastination, right? The energy of I don't want to do it, right? And we talked about how we can look at that from different perspectives, like understanding how our mind works and understanding maybe the energetics behind it, and maybe underlying imprints or traumas that could also be connected. There's many ways to understand. It's not just like one thing, but it's not that there's something wrong with us, with you, if that's the energy that's presenting. It's that it's providing the opportunity. Think about how, and whatever you're working with, procrastination is this example of a contraction energy. If you're feeling the compression energy right now, if you're not feeling the expansive spaciousness and you're going, oh my God, it's crazy, and or there's moments where your mind is just spinning out, this is for you for sure. It's like hand to heart, take a moment, take a breath, forgive yourself for doing the best you could given your state of consciousness, and befriend these energies in a way. Get curious. Don't view them as bad and label them and judge them. That is what labeling them does, even, that you are bad for not doing this. And there's probably an underlying life script at play, and there is a lot of support you can do for that, and it could be, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve good things. I'm not worthy. Our multidimensional wellness asks us to start clearing up those patterns. So navigating the inner matrix, an amazing program with SharingCare, life-changing, that supports you in clearing up life scripts and anchoring in your peace, love, and joy and your ascended heart. Session with me, book a discovery session. They're free if you've never worked with me, and see if we're a match and I could support you with that. Look for a therapist or healer or counselor or somebody. But the point is to really feel into the sincerity, love, and presence. Do you feel in alignment with them? Do they feel in alignment for you? There's a teacher for everybody. Does it feel right for you? But get the support, listening to shows on Oneness Talk Radio, your herb friends and allies, all of those things. How are you supporting yourself? So if you're feeling those contraction energies, like I promise, is you focus though on what nourishes you, what brings you joy. Joy is your portal to your ascended being. True joy. Is it being in nature? Is it being with other beings that feel like you connect with? Is it creating or painting? Is it really, being present with children? What does that for you? What brings you joy? Do that. It helps you break free of that cycle. It helps you break free of the spiral that would pull us down, the compression energy that so many are feeling. And, and if you're witnessing so many in that energy, just love them. They are doing the best that they can given their state of consciousness. Forgive them. They know not what they do. They truly are doing the best they can given their state of consciousness in the moment, right? Then we can truly lift. When we're in our multidimensional presence, we start seeing, the density doesn't have to have any pull on us. If we're feeling stuck or sticky, we are experiencing a lot of density, or we have things to clear off, or we have life patterns that might be running, or we have a combination for sure. But you will be guided as to, you are a master. You would not have come here to earth if you were not a master. It's time to really know that. What helps you anchor that knowing? Everything else starts to resolve from that knowing. You are a multidimensional being. When we are in our fifth dimensional presence, it's compassion energy. Compassion for your life. How do you hold compassion for yourself? How can you love yourself even more? How can you see that really every moment of your life, lift to that mountaintop perspective, lift to the clouds and gaze down at what has happened in your life that has supported you to get where you are right now? And what have you had to walk through? Oh my goodness, no wonder so many of us have a lot that we have to break free from, a lot of stories, a lot of pain, a lot of what has been heartache, to walk through to remember who we are. It's part of this realm, and it's part of having feelings and having a human form that we learn through. And we all went through the veil of forgetfulness coming into this form. You did say, I want to be there. I want to be on earth for this moment right now. This experience, 2020, so many healers and ascended beings and people that have been walking their walk and being on the spiritual journey are having so much expansion this year. And that has been a theme, being with a group of beings last weekend that have been doing their work to live in their authentic selves, being around clients and friends and colleagues and people that have been doing their work in the spirit world and within to really be guided, to really keep saying, this is my path, are experiencing so many miracles, so much alignment, rapid, instantaneous manifestations of things you have dreamed of. I currently am living the life that I dreamed of. Stop for a second, meet, exactly where you're at in every way. You said you wanted to be here, even if it doesn't look like pleasant right now. Maybe it's amazing and maybe it's not, but you at one point in your life were hoping to be where you are right now. And perhaps you're at the moment where you're like, this is the dream I always dreamed I would have, to be here right now. And here I am, right? What's next? What are we birthing next? That's the big, exciting moment before us. So multidimensional wellness, the key is to really embrace the fact that you are a divine being having a human experience, that you came to be here right now. And yes, the journey, wow, there were so many things that you could have said, I give up, I contract, and I bet you did. I bet you did say, just forget it. I have done that too. That's happened this year. Just forget it. I can't. Why am I even doing this anymore? But then it only takes an instant to lift, especially if you have been practicing lifting into your multidimensional anchorship. If you have been anchoring in the fifth dimension and saying, I'm going to have compassion for myself, for my life, for the world, every being doing the best they can, this beautiful planet doing her job, everybody doing their work has been facilitating this. And look, density might look terrible, but it is the fertile ground from which awakening births. We awaken through contrast. We awaken through sometimes things just not feeling good in order to awaken. And some beings are just awakening like boom, like that, going, whoa, so if you're one of those, welcome, and we are here to hold your hand. This community is here to hold one another. And if you've been walking the path a long time, it's our time to really hold those that are saying, oh my gosh, I'm awakening, but we need to hold each other's hand and lift each other up and come together as beings of light. So this hour every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific with Soul Fusion Cafe is one of those opportunities, or it's lunchtime if you're Eastern, which I enjoy. It's our lunchtime, right? Lunch break. What other ways are you able to facilitate those connections in your life? Like, this is a very important way that I enjoy connecting with you and supporting you. And, I love to hear from you. Email me, find me on social media, check me out, SelfAscensionStudios.com. That will get you started on ways to connect with me. SelfAscensionStudios with an S.com. Send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. And this is a community of support and light, and creating community is such a passion for me personally. It's important though for each of us, and a passion for each of us to be able to connect with other beings, because together we are better, and we illuminate and support one each other. And by witnessing one another's growth, by supporting each other through anchoring and remembering the truth of who we are, we remember it ever more strongly. It's just so good. It's so available. So while things in the world can look terrible. If you are anchored in density, it does look terrible. It's, we don't need to go into it, but it's crazy, right? It's absolutely bananas. And you could get sucked in watching it, even thinking you're an ascended being watching it, but it's affecting you. Turn it off and don't watch it. This really leads up into October 31st is going to be this profound moment of really anchoring and being in your sincerity and your presence that day. Your sincerity, love, and presence are going to really matter. And my teachers, Sri Ram Khan and Kira, are really asking us to consider, and implement on that day, a day of like really silence, presence from sun up to sundown, even though it's Halloween, right? That what are you willing to do, because your presence really matters, and we are needed to anchor in our consciousness that day. Turn off the media, don't go near it, be in divine presence. How does that look for you? Is it building a puzzle? Is it going for walks? Is it being with your family? Is it making foods? Think what nourishes me and brings me joy, and how am I going to be in that divine presence and dance that day, sun up to sundown, because your presence matters so much. Our ascended community matters. So it's going to support you going forward and anchoring what's going to birth in November and December and into 2021 and beyond. It's going to support all of humanity. Absolutely. If you want to know how to help the world, and that's part of where you get stuck, is seeing and being in the pain of the world, really, and take this invitation to say, if I lift into my ascended presence and my higher consciousness, I am bringing a much greater gift and actually helping the world heal. The things that I see that cause pain and suffering will be healed from me anchoring in my higher consciousness much more rapidly. And it's the only way, really, to heal, because we cannot play our way off the game board. As Sri Ram Ka always says, you cannot play your way off the game board. If you're in density and you're trying to fix it from within density, you aren't going to get anywhere. You're just going to keep birthing more density energies, anger, fear, frustration, and the planetary thought body is chock full of that already. Full, full, full. There is no shortage of that energy. So we are really just contributing to that. We are contributing to victim consciousness, because there must be someone to blame. There must be a bad guy. There must be an abuser. Maybe we're rescuing and going in and rescuing people. It's the victim, rescuer, abuser, and it's the moment to transcend that and really and ascend into the healer, mentor, teacher roles, right? And we all must do that dance and live through it. But density is in that triangle hard. And if you go in and try to fix it from within there, you are just caught up in it. So that's another energy that is playing out with procrastination or stickiness, whatever you want to call that, right? Because then we are the ultimate victim. We can't do it. We can't do it, and maybe it's the stuff that's the abuser that's all looming over us, or it's really ourself generally, because we are being so hard on ourselves. We are stuck in that contraction energy. That's how multidimensional presence bounces us right out of it. And we see that we're doing the best we can. We see with that fifth dimensional compassion, the being has been doing their best all along, and forgive ourselves. And we forgive others, from that space, we can really release. And when we move into our seventh dimension, that's when we hit non-judgment. That's the multidimensional stage of there's no judgment here. It just all is. And we gaze down at that game board of density, and we gaze down at that fifth dimension that's holding the compassion around it all, and just see the clarity of all of that, right? And we just really see that it's there's no wrong, there's no right. It just is. And it's playing through and through our consciousness and our ignition of our star consciousness, which brings us into our multidimensional presence. Our star consciousness that lays right here, that ignites us. Through that gaze, we can see the perfection of all, and we can understand what we then need to do for ourselves. It just becomes natural. Instead of thinking what I should do or what I have to do, it's what I get to do, what I get to do for me, what I get to bring in for me, not Oh God, there's so much to do. What do I get to do today? There's always going to be aspects of density calling to us, and we have to integrate the fact that we have to walk in this world, right, as a master, but we still have to pay bills, homeschool our kids. If you're a mom like me, you're single parenting it, so you're doing like 10 roles, it's crazy. And without anchoring multidimensional presence, I would still be where I was years ago, in that where I could not get out of bed for 4 hours, could hardly get through the day sometimes. And it was a horrible, horrible feeling and collapse, right? But I experienced being there, and I've experienced it more than once, to really understand what it's like. I get it. I get it. I get it. And I know that it's through the gift of accepting multidimensional presence and awareness and the truth of our being that we are able to transcend all that. And then all of a sudden, those just become part of the dance, the things that we do to live our life, and the flow is there, and there has to be a balance and a harmony. Are we giving and receiving? Are we in the masculine and feminine of the empowerment of our being and taking action from that empowerment? I just get really excited. It's your empowerment, that's your love, that's your ability to transcend it all, and the solutions come all of a sudden. It's just like you just took care of so many things, and you're going, oh my God, yay me. And yes, yay you. Congratulate yourself. It's huge to break free from those patterns. It takes the path of a warrior. It takes a master to come here to earth and say, I'm going to master density. I'm going to master bringing ascended presence into density. Whoa. I mean, it's a huge task when you're looking at all the layers of what we're dealing with, our own personal story and journey, and our own limitations. It's a time to break free of all of that. And when we really remember we are a multidimensional being and take care of that wellness, all aspects, it's what are you guided to first? It affects the whole. And when we really focus on our ascension, we focus on our heart, when we lift up, the solutions are birthed. We're in the dance. And all of a sudden it becomes a joy to do things that once were, seemed insurmountable. And I 100% absolutely know what this is like. So if you are experiencing like being super stuck, feeling like, oh my God, like I get it, I get it, I get it. And really, what can you choose? What are you willing to choose? It's not about what you have to do. What do you get to do that connects you to your joy, your compassion for yourself, the love for yourself, and help you disconnect from judgment, have forgiveness, have true, real, lasting forgiveness. This is a moment of expansion and miracles beyond your wildest dreams, and it can happen so fast. You just have to say yes to the truth of who you are. This is really, really an exciting moment. And whatever we are doing to focus on that now, like I said, is going to support us through the rest of 2020. It's going to support us in 2021 and beyond. We are creating a higher consciousness on this planet. If we choose it, we need it. It's like we all need to be doing it. I'm here to support you. Let me know. Like I said, tune in every week if you're enjoying this support. Check out Shri and Kira and hang out with, Monday Magic, and going through these beautiful ensoulments from ascended realms. There's just so much support available that you could be tapping into each and every day to help you connect. Just choose, what is the action step I could take right now? Just bring it into the now moment. What could I choose right now to support my being? What action would support my being? And am I willing to do it? Am I willing to say, I want to feel better, connected, good, peace, love, joy, what you are searching for? Am I willing to feel it? Am I willing to receive it? Am I really willing to receive it now? And if the answer is no, be with that, honor that, and go within and explore that. But I know for most of you right now, the answer is yes. How are you going to do it? How are you going to keep saying yes? You came here today, so that's one way you said yes. Love yourself. Be in union with yourself, your soul, being in union with the vessel in union with the soul. The two are one, right? Release judgment. Surrender the ego, let go of the ego, surrender to the divine and the divine dance, how that looks for you. Unconditional love. That's the compassion and the trust in you and your divine nature. Those are the steps of self-ascension, and they can be in any order. But at any moment, that's something that we are moving through, is to be in union, release judgment, unconditional love. Surrender. Surrender to the divine. Trust, trust, trust. Your multidimensional wellness is here and ready to embrace you and support you in ways that defy your mind and bring you into a space where there are no limitations at all. So thank you for being here again. I am Jess Juntunen. This is Soul Fusion Cafe, and you can check it out at onenesstalkradio.com. YouTube, Oneness Talk Radio, Facebook, Oneness Talk Radio, Soul Fusion Cafe on Facebook and Instagram, as well as SelfAscensionStudios.com is my inspirational hub, where you can learn so much more about me and what I'm bringing to the world, and come say hello. I'd love to hear from you. So until the pleasure of being with you next week for this expansive multidimensional series, stay tuned. There's so much more to come. Namaste and many blessings.